Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have geopolitical events unfolding that absolutely suggest this is the time for the XRP ledger to rise from the ashes. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This is a remarkable opportunity. What are we talking about? We're talking about the beautiful Emerald Coast. That's right. Look at that. It looks like the Bahama Islands, doesn't it? But you don't have to leave the continental United States. It's the panhandle of Florida. We're talking about the Emerald Coast. And this right here is where I'm trying to get a place when everything moons, right? For me and my family. And if you are too, and you like the beach life, fishing, sun, fun, walking, hiking, playing pickleball, being in the most beautiful water, which is the Gulf of America, that Bahama feel, white, silky, sandy beaches, fishing, wind sailing, whatever your thing is, it's right here. And we're going to show you some condos today in the 300 to 400,000 range, where you and your family could timeshare out the expense if you wanted to, or just have it for your family all year round. But if you reach out to Realty Mark, Gulf of America XRP.com, underneath any one of my videos, you can get started today and start building this beautiful getaway escape for you and your family the way I'm going to do mine. Just click the link, Gulf of America XRP.com, underneath the video and get started today. $2.49 trillion market cap for crypto. Now the market's off 2.6 as we're in the weekend here. 70,700 plus for Bitcoin holding, 2,000 plus holding for Ethereum. XRP is $1.39. We're off 3.1 like much the rest of the market in the last 24. We're up 1.7 on the 7-day. Ranging between 139, 144. Not surprising in the weekend that we're on the lower side of that range. We have today, ladies and gentlemen, you can get your discounted ticket, ends today. Get your ticket 46 days away. Listen, $900 GA ticket brought down to $589. We're doing this to celebrate not passing the Clarity Act, which hasn't happened. It was only supposed to be a sale for like a week or two. So you see what's happened here. But I'm telling you right now, go get your ticket. Sale ends today, ladies and gentlemen. We got to change it back. This is where we're going. So go get your tickets, and we will see you at XRP Las Vegas, xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets. Now, unfortunately, we have to start here. Oh my gracious. This guy has called us retards. Everyone in the XRP community gets name called, the whole bit. But I have to show you this because this guy really is like the poster child for people who don't understand the real role of XRP, which I am going to lay out for him and everyone else here today.
Buying up of infrastructure that you just highlighted by a lot of these giant centralized pools of wealth. And I'm glad you actually drew the comparison here between, the BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, State Street, and a company like Ripple, because Ripple is one of these giant scammers as well, right? They're literally selling their XRP shitcoin to ignorant retail investors.
That's 3 insults right out of the gate in like 4 seconds.
Mobilizing a bot army on social media to pretend like Ripple or XRP is the next Bitcoin or the next big token. And people are just getting taken to the cleaner on this thing. They've been selling $500 million of XRP tokens, dumping them on retail investors, $500 million per quarter for about the past 10 years. It's one of these fucking shitbag scammers. I think it was Garlinghouse, just bought a $100 million house here in Miami. Like, that guy's he's not solving any problems in the world. He's solving zero problems, right? He's just stealing your money, right? He stole your money through this. Actually, this is where it's a little bit of a gray area, right? Because technically, the people went and bought the XRP token, believing all the marketing hype and the social media bot army that it's going to be the next Bitcoin or whatever. And they basically gave their wealth to the Brad Garlinghouse that goes and buys the $100 million home in Miami. So it's slightly...
I can't even hear anymore. This is so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. God almighty. Listen, but this is what the majority of the Bitcoin community thinks, because they're listening to this guy. Listen, let's understand this. Everyone who hears this guy talk is now dumber just from hearing it. That's truth. I've seen this before. I think it's the man bun is tied too tight. That's really what's going on here. The man bun's too tight. This guy thinks that U.S. governments and governments around the U.S. government and governments around the world and central banks are going to sit back and watch their fancy little Bitcoin take over the world's money. Yeah, you definitely got the man bun too tight this morning, Professor. Great Scott. Now, let's get back and let's jump in the plane and or rocket ship and let's leave planet Xanadu and now let's go to where everybody else lives, which is on planet Earth. Now, here is an example because we got to set the tone. There's major news happening today in the Iran conflict that I think signals exactly why I have made the case that all of these geopolitical events are tied to the new digital on-chain economy and the preservation of the US dollar in it. Little history right here in 51 seconds.
Gold also has other applications, a lot of applications, jewelry in India, but it's something that historically people have all agreed on. And gold can't have a fiscal problem. Gold cannot have a gigantic budget deficit. Gold cannot have a war. So just the fact that it is this isolated thing makes it very interesting. And the fact that the entire global trading system, until Richard Nixon took us off, was tied to gold.
So you're not anti-gold?
Oh, no.
They even called him a gold bug when he had his private fund. You know, that's how the dollar was underpinned originally. Then we moved to the petrodollar system to underpin the US dollar. Well, that was 50 some years ago. Well, now let's listen to this because this is House of Representatives. Hold on. This is House of Representative Hugh Blackwell from North Carolina. He just tweeted 3 hours ago, global banking is getting a speed boost and Ripple is leading the charge with its fast payment technology. This is Representative Hugh Blackwell from the House of Representatives. How'd he find out? Oh, that's right. Brad Garlinghouse has been doing a lot of work on Capitol Hill. That's how he found out. Now, let me just play you a few seconds here of what he shared at this moment in time with all the geopolitical events happening.
Correspondent banking works is pre-funded capital sits in accounts around the world, and you have literally $10 trillion pre-funded into other banks, into other financial institutions in order to facilitate. It's the oil in the engine that allows correspondent banking to work, and it's sitting there. And if we can reduce the amount of oil necessary in the engine, that's incredible efficiency for the global economy. That's good for everybody. If we can remove 10 trillion to a lower number, that's stock buybacks, that's dividends, that's working capital for lots of other purposes.
So this is key because, I mean, you really see the value in this or in many of the sort of digital assets that we talk about when we think about the sort of cryptocurrencies, but as the value is in transferring value rather than storing value, in facilitating transactions. And talk a little bit about, the speed, because XRP versus, say, the way we do this now, why is it so much faster than the normal banking transfers through SWIFT, for example?
Well, so first let me say, I don't think there's going to be one crypto to rule them all. And I think there are cryptos. I own Bitcoin. I'm long Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is a store of value and people hold it. And so I don't think there's just going to be one use case. We think about XRP as an incredibly efficient shuttler, a bridge currency, if you will, and because it's extremely fast.
Right.
So in contrast to even Bitcoin, for example, we can do a transaction for about 6/10,000th of a cent. A Bitcoin transaction today costs about $2.30 per transaction. Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to fail or something. I think Bitcoin and XRP, I don't view them as competitive.
Right.
XRP is extremely efficient for that payments solution, that payments problem we're solving.
Somebody play all this for the man bun guy. It's just the House of Representatives Hugh Blackwell highlighting Ripple as the upgrade for global banking. That's what we're talking about. His words, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously there's a buzz going around on Capitol Hill about what the solution is out here. And we might need that solution a lot faster than anybody thinks, because Iran is now considering a wild move, only letting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz if the cargo is paid in Chinese yuan, ditching the US dollar for most trades. This would be a massive shift, as 80% of the global oil is priced and traded in US dollars, giving us the world reserve currency status through this petrodollar agreement that is now being challenged in the grandest way we've ever seen in the history of mankind and money. Still think it's a joke now? Remember all the dipshit influencers in our own community that told us we were not allowed to have this conversation? The world's leaders are broadcasting this conversation right now. Are we allowed to talk about it now? XRP was designed to replace the petrodollar. That's what we're talking about. Don't believe it. It's still true. Remember this? Kryptonaires. This was the documentary a lot of people said we never made. It's unbelievable the stuff we've been through, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Dustin Play at Hope from Kryptonaires. But this was 2019. And listen, I have been saying, when my oldest brother and myself sat down with this asset, Ripple, the company, and XRP, the asset, back in 2017, it was still called Ripples back then. But nonetheless, when we sat down with the asset and the company and took a look at what was going on, we had come up with ourselves, and by June, the summer of 2017, we had come to the conclusion, both him and I, that the XRP price would either be price set or a price floor, and that would be established and controlled either like the way the federal interest rate was or the way oil is priced and controlled. And as we look today, all these years later, it looks more and more to me like XRP will be price controlled the way oil is, especially with all the talk about a digital stockpile reserve and XRP being named in that. So, but with that, take a listen to this little throwback from 2019 at Ripple Swell.
I wanted to ask a question about globalization. If you could talk about the idea of the old concept of the bank or coin and a neutral asset being in place of a global reserve status of the dollar, and possibly that being XRP.
You know, what you're asking for is whether there's a possibility of a global currency, and to some extent that's what Libra was trying to do. And as I understand it, that's different from what XRP is trying to do. And the reason is as follows. As soon as you go to maintaining the value, right, some kind of stable coin, a whole set of regulatory concerns get triggered. I have to make sure that there is corresponding financial or real assets backing this notional value that they seek to maintain.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, in all of that, I did happen to catch up with Dr. Rajan after that little panel and my question to him, and I thanked him for taking my question. And he was getting ready to leave and step into a car, and it was just incredible. And I said, Dr. Rajan, I said, forgive me. I said, when I asked that question, I didn't quite set it up to get the, to give you the platform for the answer I was looking for. I realized I went down the wrong lane for a second by going to the bank or coin example. And then he leaned into the Libra at the time example, what Libra and Facebook were trying to do. I said, how would you have answered if I had asked you to look at XRP as a commodity like oil and be priced? And then he looked at me and had one foot in the car. And he said, well, I would have had to answer that much differently then. Now, wouldn't I? And literally got in the car and shut the door. And it was like a little grin. And then I grinned. And it was just the coolest moment. And obviously I didn't get an answer, but I mean, just the look on his face was like, well, I wouldn't be able to give the same answer I gave on stage, basically, is what he was suggesting. And I would still love to talk to him about that point and direction of conversation. But nonetheless, here we are in real time, ladies and gentlemen. Iran is saying we will not attack ships coming through the Strait of Hormuz if we start letting Chinese yuan be the tradable solution for the petro coming through the strait. And that is a power move, which is why I've told you guys about this whole thing is about the petrodollar and the dollar hegemony in this world. And here you have it here too with Mark Yusko. But I don't need to play it. We've got the point today. But here's what the real effects are. This is gas lines of thousands of cars in China waiting to get gas because 50% of China's oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. China's meeting with Trump now. See how it works? Remember, it was just last month, President Xi was calling for the Chinese yuan to displace the US dollar as the world reserve currency. And here now we're seeing a proxy war through Iran, which I have said this is a proxy war for the petrodollar and the fight for the world reserve currency status between Chinese yuan and the US dollar. Make no mistake, that's what it is at my house. And China is incentivized to bring their ass to a conversation because 50% of their oil is not getting to them right now. And we're the ones controlling the Strait of Hormuz right now. And they just went after Karg Island and just dismantled that. So this is why we see China condemning Iran attacks on Gulf states, calling for immediate ceasefire of military operations and return to negotiations, which have now blossomed to say we need to have all of the oil coming through here traded in yuan now all of the sudden. All of the sudden. Everybody's meeting back to the table, and what do you know? It comes back to oil, the petrodollar system, and the world reserve currency status of the US dollar. Happy Saturday. XRP was designed to replace and underpin the US dollar as the next system to underpin the US dollar for the next 150 or 300 years. How? By gathering reserves of many different kinds of assets, a basket of multiple assets from every sector of the economy, and then underpin the US dollar with a reserve basket of something from every sector of the economy. All the commodities, right? A little bit of stocks, a little bit of bonds, a little bit of property, territories, all of this stuff. And then you have a dollar that you can't get rid of unless you literally obliterate the planet and everyone on it, which is not a solution. So at the end of the day, where are we? We're at a place, and I do mean a critical place, where XRP may really, truly rise through the ashes that we're seeing of war right now to bring about peace and separate this argument once and for all. You don't need $1 to rule the world. You can put XRP between everyone's dollars, and then everyone can rule their own little world, known as their country, and still do business with one another peacefully. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.